Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the EGF Power Series Valorant. My name is Ashkan, joined by Bind on the mic. And I think today, between William and Mary versus Wichita State University, we're going to take it to the map. Artie.
We're on bind again, Ashcon.
Yeah, we
This is
are
3
on
times in a
Bind.
row we're on bind.
I can't handle it. I'm stuck in a loop. It's Groundhog's Day all over again. One of the same teams,
Yeah,
always.
alright, but you know what? William and Mary, they had a warm-up game on bind, right? And so now we're gonna be seeing them up against Wichita State, who absolutely killed it that first time here. And, granted, we do the numbers, right? So, Wichita State won, and then over in the last one, we had William and Mary not win. So if you do the numbers, we're on bind again. It looks like a solid clear cut victory for Wichita State. But who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and if my camera ever stops freezing, then maybe we could actually see William and Mary pull out a couple surprising round wins like we did in the last one.
Four surprising round wins to be exact. So I'm not sure if the odds are in their favor, but they always have the room to shake things up, right? In the way that we saw Marquette kind of maintain the same team composition, the opposite could very easily be true, right? That you're not obligated to maintain the same agent selection. I was talking about how teams, when they practice, they usually use the same five agents to practice with, get down their utility timings and whatnot. But when it comes to collegiate Valorant, because they're not at the highest level of play, they're not spending, 6 hours a day on scrims. I mean, most NA pros aren't even doing that. They're just streaming, but forget that's an argument for a later day. Because they don't have to spend so much time practicing, they have a little bit more freedom in shuffling around the agent roster a little bit. And so for William and Mary, an agent difference here or there might be the key to victory, especially when they were finding themselves consistently being invaded. I felt like they gave away too much space. As much as I want to attribute it to agents, it also comes down to a matter of communication and, as we saw already, trust at the very end of map one.
Absolutely. And I mean, even through that, right, Ashcon, when we talk about the skill disparity between Wichita's Immortals and William and Mary's not Immortals, I think that, it's going to come down to, just taking exactly what you said about the agent select. I think flipping it on its head, right? I think that the biggest thing and the best thing that they can do is to just full send a meme team. Five duelists has a better chance up against Wichita State University than if William and Mary took out some sort of textbook composition. And I stand by that just because of the fact that what we saw from William and Mary last time, we need a wild card.
Well, there's 6 duelists available, so definitely possible, and they could. I mean, I wouldn't throw it out. I have seen some YOLO team comps before in tournaments, and they do a lot better than you would initially think, so I can't dismiss the idea that a 5 duelist comp, wouldn't work, or that it would work. So, if we do see that, we have to talk about which duelists they're gonna use. I mean, Marquette really showed us how good Yoru is on bind and what the possibilities are there. Not so sure that
I
we're getting
think
word
my
from
pleas have been heard. My
um
me sending this out to the heavens, that whole bit for nothing because now we have changed and we're on ascent, baby. That's not bind.
I'm sorry for lying to you guys in the audience. I guess it looks like we're on ascent. And that means we got to shift everything up and all of our talking points get to now pivot to a completely different map, the love child of Dust 2 and Mirage. Artie, you're more familiar with the CS:GO scene and you understand how those maps break down. When it comes to Ascent, they play so similarly and the focus is on mid.
I would say that if it is Ascent, it is going to be 100% Wichita for me as far as guesses go in this best of one series. If it is Bind, I think that William and Mary doing a full send comp, they are going to be able to surprise us, and it's a 50-50. What are your thoughts here when it comes to that? I know that you wanted me to talk a little bit about mid control, all that kind of stuff, but Ashcon, talking about skill disparity because Wichita State University, they are pretty good.
Yeah, so with Wichita State, I mean, we've seen that their brain is not outpaced by their aim or vice versa. They're really calling all the shots and landing all the shots, and I want to say in an absurd tempo, and it makes sense. I mean, a Mortal 3 average team, these guys are familiar with the competitive scene. I want to say that what's going to happen is the early fights in mid are what determine control over the map ascent, and because Wichita, we can be so confident in the way that they'll land a shot or trade it if they do lose the initial fight, they're going to crack open this map, whether it be through catwalk or going into market. And sometimes, maybe if we get lucky enough, the mythical being of pushing mid to wrap around a heaven to end up on a site. But that one's a shot in the dark, not something we see very often. But what we do see is Killjoy and Astra signature character picks, and we're seeing them hovered on both sides. And it's no surprise to me that Sova is on the board.
Oh yeah, especially just seeing Pizzasaurus going back over to Killjoy. I am familiar with Pizzasaurus's Killjoy on this map. In fact, I've seen it probably too many times to count. But I think that this is a pretty good comp that they're hovering over right now. One duelist, two initiator. Now William and Mary, they're gonna have to mirror this. To be honest, they are gonna need to bring out two initiators. They're going to need to bring out the Killjoy. If they go anywhere else other than the Killjoy, it's going to harm them here. Now, again, this is Ascent, so we got to go somewhere other than, that five duelist meme team we were talking about from Bind. I think that if they go for Ascent,
Choose your
right,
agent.
they're going to have to pull out all the stops because Wichita has a long and storied history here. We're gonna be checking this out with William and Mary going for that double duelist. They're pulling out the Reyna and the Jet. Now that is something that is traditionally picked here, but again, up against Wichita's double initiator, Ashcon, I'm not sure if that's the move here.
No, I think generally when you run double duelist nowadays, you want to pick up Chamber instead of Killjoy. And the reason being is on the attacking side, your Astra and your Sova commit to the utility that they're trying to utilize, right? So they're stuck in animations, and when it comes down to those firefights that you need to be ready to at a split second's notice, those agents are already out of the fight. Killjoy is kind of in the same boat. I mean, on the attacking side, sure, she puts a turret on the flank and she should be okay. On the defense, she's kind of anchored to her site, right? So having a double duelist, William and Mary, they're kind of putting the pressure on two duelists to execute the job while the rest of everyone is fumbling around with the utility. Killjoy might be able to follow onto the site once they get to attack, sure, but I think it's going to be a bit of a mess, and we're going to see players caught with their pants down. But for now, William and Mary are stuck on the defense, which might seem good for them. It means that one problem gets to be avoided, but the one in their face now is how much utility do they really have? Killjoy is good at locking down one site, but not good enough to procure information in other places. And an early mid peak on top of it to lose an initial player already, that's not the situation you want to be in as William and Mary University drop to four agents.
Especially not after losing the controller. On defense, your controller is so important here, and they're going to drop them out immediately. We are going to look at Reyna here, who's being played by Square, swapping out in place of Mob from the last match. Truman is going to come through and pick up the refrag there. Now we will see still the one-man advantage being on the side of Wichita State University, and again, Wichita is just so strong on this. But look at that, William and Mary, they've left a completely undefended for this pistol round here to be an easy take for Wichita State. And once Wichita takes one of these sites here, that is it. It is over for them. William and Mary are going to be trying to flood through from heaven, and it looks like that is going to work out just a little bit here. Little Banana Duck has time to get this reload here as Teason uses all of those frenzy rounds on the Killjoy. Now, a 2v3 situation doesn't seem too difficult to despair, but Pizzasaurus going to be setting up that turret here, saved all the way for this. Going to be making this a little bit more difficult. Jeem unfocused, doesn't look at the flank here. Fung going down immediately, and now we are going to be seeing Wichita State picking up this first pistol.
And there it is. Early greed is immediately punished. William and Mary, with the composition that they have, can't be peeking out early. Can't be peeking out early, and it definitely can't be the Astra. Generally, what we would see in this type of composition is the Jet and Reyna would be working together Reyna tosses out an initial leer for Jet to take the swing and then be able to dash away. And then immediately as the dash comes out, Reyna can finish the job and use a soul to dismiss as well, ensuring that one kill is at least picked up. But they've split up the duelists. They're in opposite parts of the map, diagonal from each other. So that means they won't be able to play off of each other at all. And triple stacking B here with one in market. I mean, sure, William and Mary's still stuck on the pistols, but could definitely do a lot more with the utility available to them.
Somewhat of a slow start here. A little bit curious as to why Wichita decided to go this slow here, but as we see Truman taking out Square with that Marshall, all plays out here. Truman picked up the double onto Hazmat here, but Fung is in a dangerous position. Unfortunately, though, getting flashed out. That leaves Truman with a 3K and William and Mary with the last two survivors over on the wrong site. Wichita, though, in their haste, forgot the spike. They're going to have to run back home and grab that as they go back, still completely unbothered at B site here. Now, again, it's a safe round after the pistol, right? William Mary didn't buy anything. We kind of expected this to come through. Little Banana Duck, though, pushes forward. Unfortunately, not able to take the free one here. Instead, wasting 400 credits. No, no dash. No smokes. That's very unfortunate here as we come through to it. But you know what? We expected that.
So now it's the buy up for William and Mary, right? 4 Spectres get to remain on the side of Wichita State. They're more than happy to use them. Well, I say Spectres, but really I mean the general eco buy. They're going to keep a Guardian and a Marshal. It's just going to be Cabo left on the Sheriff, punished for dying to the hands of Guacamole, which I do love guacamole. I love myself a good bowl with some chips, but not the situation you want to be caught in at all. Wichita State, they're just approaching with a nice default, disciplining themselves to try not to drop an early player, but you got to remember that once that third round comes, you can't swing mid the way you were doing for the first two. You have to respect that weapon difference, and it looks like they've learned. It looks like William and Mary are not leaving the Astra alone in mid, and now it's going to be the duelist posted up in market, which is a much more disposable agent. I wouldn't say the player themselves, but rather it's a lot less impactful for Reyna to perish this early on in a round as opposed to your only controller.
This eco difference is really playing into William and Mary's favor a lot more than I actually thought it would. Wichita losing their Sentinel, not only that, losing their Rock. That's their Pizzasaurus. Gonna be checking out how well William and Mary will be holding out with this one. Right now, they aren't really stuck to one strat here, right? You got Reyna playing out through market here, who can easily come through to either side. We're gonna be watching as Square goes down to just 1 HP here. William and Mary looking a little bit scared on the back foot right now, but they are gonna be not cornered in a cage without any fight in them. We will see Wichita just drop down to Truman. Truman picks up one. Gonna be peeking out the side here, picks up the third. Let's see what's gonna happen. He takes out Guac, almost gets the ace here by Little Banana Duck. Going to be finishing that out, and William and Mary actually picking up a good round here. But Wichita State, they took out 4 rifles from William and Mary. That is gonna hurt them.
Oh, and it's going to hurt him a lot. I mean, first of all, I want to fire the script writers of this episode of The Truman Show. There's no reason that Truman should have lost. And I mean, we were really building up to an awesome ace. But regardless, they're going to be able to wield the Blaze Storm, and maybe we get to see a little bit more of that fancy footwork and fancy flicks. It's a default, but oh, excuse me, it's a full send B. It's a death ball into B main, and with the Trailblazers stunning, the controller Hazmat is in a hazardous situation. They're now dead, deceased, into the floor, sent to the heavens, and so too is Fung on the sites. That's going to be a pretty easy B-side take and rather smooth for Wichita State. And they get to just sit onto the site. Now, I don't like the positioning entirely. They don't have anyone posted in B main. When the fights break out, they're going to be kind of like fish in a barrel, but there's enough players to crossfire that they should be okay. There's absolutely no reason that William and Mary should be able to break through.
Little Banana Duck comes through and does what Little Banana Duck does best, to click the heads. Truman will be on this sideline here with the Spectre. This is an exciting round 4, to be honest with you. But Wichita State, they're baked into the site. There's almost no way William Mary has any free entry here, especially given the fact that the only flashes they have to work with are Reyna's Leader, which I believe have already been burned at this point in the game. Truman will go
One
down
enemy
as
remaining.
Guacamole just picks up
One
a
enemy
quick
remaining.
3K here, but Kaba is going to try to run away from the spike, does not get out of the detonation zone here. Little Banana Duck does survive, but it was a win for Wichita.
And so that's why it's a huge danger to post all of your agents onto the site, is that if you don't have anyone in B main, you can't create a
Out of
situation
charges.
where the post plant holders or the spike explosion holders are forced to fight, and they're going to expect the angles that you're exiting the site from. They're able to spray you down or force you to stay onto that site where the spike will explode, this resulting in a lot less weaponry. Now, in the case of Wichita State, they still had money in the bank, so they're more than able to go ahead and buy once again, but they still would have been better off having the extra money in their back pocket, perhaps building up to an aggressive operator. Hazmat stunned once again, and Teeson's just going to clear the corner. That shorty is not going to find a single shot out of the barrel.
Teeson just so strong with it. That is just such powerful aggression. Pizzasaurus actually winning that gunfight here does get traded out by Little Banana Duck. I love that username so much. Teeson drops down to just 19 HP here as Wichita tries to find their way out. 2 owl drones will be in the sky right now, and well, Truman is going to try to find their way over, but as Little Banana Duck picks up a second one, it's dropped down to a 3v3, a lot more even here than I initially expected, especially given what we saw
Right
from
there.
William and Mary in the last one here. They're actually a lot stronger on Ascent than I would have thought. Now, Jeem is going to be able to get into a powerful position here by Tree, but as the spike gets planted,
Turret out.
Jeem is waiting for the right
Spike
time
planted.
to
You want to
strike
fight it?
right now. Going for that cosmic divide as well. Truman uses that op, take out Guacamole. We will see
One
Little Panda
enemy
pick up the
remaining.
3K, but Jeem waiting in patience, strikes at the right time here. It's up to Fung now, who
Ace.
cannot find an in here. To Kaba's
Gun here.
just beautiful guardian there. They'll pick up the op, they'll save the op here. Wichita now 4 to William and Mary's 1.
I want to say there's a lot of micro errors going on here with William and Mary. They could have pathed through the mid after the initial picks to pick up some of their own weapons. They, did end up striking dead a few of the Wichita State members, and that would have been extra weaponry in their hands for the retake. They didn't arm themselves, and in addition, in that very last frame, Fung, if they had just stuck tight to the barrels, didn't jump, and opted to just sprint with knife out instead, they would have gotten out of the vision range of the dart. And I think it's a little bit, I'm to say, nervousness as well as anxiety coming into that play. Of course, 1 versus 2 with the sheriff in your hand, it's not an easy situation to be in. Right now, we're watching Wichita State taking control of the A side, where there's only a lone Killjoy, and although they understand they're being collapsed on, they're calling for reinforcements. A jet posted up by Glass isn't really going to be enough. The alarm bot's been triggered. Sure, the nanoswarm is going to buy them time, but it's a two-pronged attack, meaning Wichita State are going to put Guacamole into a bear trap.
Ooh, but Guacamole will bite back, taking out Jeem in that bear trap here. Tease and Little Banana Duck are going to be going at it to each other, though. But Wichita does get the spike down here.
planted.
Now, Little Banana Duck has a very little HP to work with here. Square in Empress mode is a force to be reckoned with, but unfortunately, not going to be able to push at just the right time here. Wichita
enemy
is
remaining.
going to just be down to Kaba. Let's see if this will work out. Kaba hears the defuse start, doesn't even have time. And there it is, Square with the Empress mode just peeks out to finish it off. Great round by William and Mary. And Ashcon, I gotta say, right now, we're looking at the battle between two titans. And that's not William and Mary as a whole up against Wichita State as a whole. I'm talking about the Pizzasaurus versus the Little Banana Duck.
I got enough time to go into the
Def-
Monsters.
this is the movie I've been waiting for. Forget Godzilla versus what's the other monster?
right there.
King Kong?
King Kong, yeah, that dude, the big monkey.
Out
Forget Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm looking at Little Banana Duck versus Pizzasaurus. That's the hit film of the century, an IMDb classic. Staring down the barrel is Pizzasaurus with the Guardian, not going to find anyone in the initial B main position. I mean, Wichita State has been finding value with the Trailblazer, but I think William and Mary have learned their lesson after being stunned 2-3 rounds in a row, and Hazmat is going to retaliate, getting rid of the pusher on Catwalk, but Square wants to take up this space as well. They realize that now that Catwalk is safe, they can move over by Refrigerator, find this pick, and the dismiss. Not getting greedy and letting Hazmat do the job to get rid of Kaba, dwindling the numbers. And it looks like it's a pretty slow round from here. Already, Wichita State don't have many options.
Is this a different William and Mary than from Bind? Look at how strong they are right now. Wichita, though, just doing some work. Truman on those knives. Unfortunately, Hazmat going to do a little bit more work here. Pizzasaurus goes down to the Banana Duck as we see 2 rounds in a row of the little Banana Duck that could taking out the Pizzasaurus. Ashcon, tell me how William and Mary is already at 3 rounds here when on the last one in Bind, they were struggling to get on the board.
Bind is certainly one of the more awkward maps to rehearse, and it's not an easy one to get into. It was released as one of the initial 3 during Valorant's beta phase, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean teams enjoy it, and it has gone through various iterations. Most recently, it's changed to short, whereas Ascent hasn't changed very much at all, and it is so familiar to those who come from other FPS games. I think William and Mary are just more well-rehearsed. Little Banana Duck, however, not able to land the initial operator shot, showing that they're getting a little bit too aggressive and too overconfident for the rest of William and Mary's liking.
And there we go with the Titan having fallen. Suggest going to be an easy in for Wichita here as they flood through. Kava picked up a double on the square, making sure that no one else is hiding in that cheeky little corner there. Guacamole will get a refrag here, but Hazmat turns the tables just a little bit here. It's dropped down now to a 2v2 situation. Truman now utilizing this op for Wichita's power with Pizzasaurus, trying to make sure that they can have enough time to get a plant out, and when they can one that they can defend in a decent spot. Now Pizzasaurus is going to have to dodge his Hunter's Fury here. He dodges the first, does not dodge the second here, as both end up going down. William and Mary have tied this up, and this is a different squad entirely. You're right. You know, Ascent is a lot more tried and true and tested and talented. William and Mary, wow, they're surprising me right now.
It's really come down to the fact that Wichita State, they're not utilizing rotations to their fullest. Mid is supposed to be under their control, and they're giving it up at the start of the round. This means that when the round does slow and they do lose an initial pick, they're not allowed to move. They're pretty much left with a ball and chain on their ankle, meaning there's no site swap for them. There's no ability to change the tempo, and William and Mary get to close in with a noose around the neck of Wichita State. That's really the pattern of all of these rounds. But here, we're seeing something a little bit different. The prophecy is not going as foretold. Picking up an operator is Thiessen, finds the initial pick, but falls to a shock dart. Looks like Wichita State has the space, but they don't have the firepower.
Wichita, I think, you know, we talked about overconfidence when Pizza Duck, you know, kind of went down earlier. I think that the overconfidence is on Wichita. I think that Wichita saw what happened in the last one, where William and Mary just kind of had a really rough time. But here, Wichita is now having a rough time.
Yeah, they're not finding their footing at all. I mean, sure, they find an initial pick, and, you know, in that last round, taking an operator out of the hands of a defender is great, but they are definitely being overconfident. 5 stacking the market together. Yeah, you want to stay together on those buy rounds, but they keep forgetting that Catwalk is such a common place for William and Mary to post up. They leave 1 or 2 agents there at all times, and it's not hard for the A player to rotate into that position either. They can't leave themselves vulnerable, especially when they have a Killjoy to watch their flanks. The turret is free.
Banana Duck is going to start off by taking out Kaba and Pizzasaurus. Here we go. The little Banana Duck that could is good for 3, and we do see Jeem getting the refrag, but it's already too late. Wichita's entire front line is gone, just down to an initiator and a controller. Thiessen getting revealed here, has to back out. Luckily, Jeem is there to cover. No aggression will be faced by Thiessen, other than a singular Astra coming out from Catwalk, which Thiessen is able to deal with very easily. Thiessen through another reveal. Takes a lot of damage from that op there. Square coming through on Catwalk again. Double op from Catwalk. You do see both of the Wichita State attackers go down. So here's where I'm confused. Wichita, they went up, they went hard, and they beat Marquette on Bind. Then Marquette played against William & Mary, and Marquette, who was beat by Wichita, beat William & Mary by a long shot. So here we are now with William & Mary, who should on paper be losing this to Wichita. They're now beating Wichita in this half. This is a rock, paper, scissors format if I've ever seen one.
Which isn't uncommon with the round robin phase, and it definitely brings an interesting dynamic to the teams who end up in the playoffs, the ones who are pulled out of groups and sent to the final bracket. So I'm excited to see, once our group phase is over, what that dynamic will be when one of those members are, pulled away from their shot at the prize. The Square is doing a great job of holding mid, but their line of sight is cut off, rendering that operator ineffective, but that's a-okay. Both Sovas in play, one shooting a Hunter's Fury, but another with an Aldrone, and I think that information is going to do a whole lot more than the ultimate, as you see Truman zoned off with that Marshall. And there we go, Square being rewarded for rotating off early, anticipating T-Sin's push. Now Wichita once again at a disadvantage, and I think you're right, Artie. We're in a rock paper scissors format, and William and Mary have just found their tempo here where they couldn't before on Bind.
I think a lot of it has to do with the, that double swap in that we see from William and Mary, especially now that, little Banana Duck is here. We see Square here. I think that's kind of what they were missing when it comes down to their team composition. And Wichita State, they kind of lost a lot of their momentum that they had when this whole thing started. As soon as William and Mary were able to get a strong beginning, here they are. And Banana Duck looking stronger than ever. I don't think it's a little Banana Duck anymore. I think it's a big Banana Duck.
The big Banana Duck that could, Artie. They're definitely carrying the team on their back. They're certainly showing up and showing out. 17-5, not just the most kills, but the least deaths in the entire matches. And you can't say they're baiting because we're not on the attacking side yet. They're not lurking. They're just rotating towards the action from the defensive side. And I mean, with the amount of rounds that William and Mary have won, there are no complaints to be had with the performance of their Jet. They are definitely on top of the ball game. Now, moving up to the mid is the Seekers alongside those on Cat. Square, distracted by the ultimate, doesn't have the angle to realize they've just been walked past. And that's going to be a false sense of security for Hazmat, who is absolutely demolished on site. Now, the secondary operator, Little Banana Duck, is able to find one, but the primary operator, Square, is going to end up in the grave without a single kill to their name.
Little Banana Duck using those knives as they were meant to. Gonna be able to pop one in the head. Little Banana Duck now holding out with the op here. Knives still in hand. T-Sin is gonna be crossing, and his pizza source crosses first. Little Banana Duck just ready on that. Oh, look at this rotate. Such beautiful aggression. This is how you use the knives with the op. T-Sin turns around and gets aced out by Little Banana Duck. 1v5, an op, some knives, and I am now in awe.
Switching sides.
And that's why they don't let ult points recharge while the Blade Storm is out, because had all of those kills gone right back into the ultimate, Banana Duck would have the Blade Storm out again this round. They would just pick up an orb and a kill and, keep the cycle going. And we're seeing that demonstration here. Proof as to why you should not be rewarded for using your ultimate and having it cycle and back. We'd be in an endless loop. Nonetheless, it is definitely impressive to pick up that ace. And how many players can flex that they've picked up an ace against their opponents in a match, in an invitational, nonetheless?
Not only that, in an invitational where you're facing someone that just beat the opponents that beat you. I can't do this math. It's so crazy to see this. But yeah, William and Mary, they are so strong, and I regret my words from the beginning of this match here, not knowing the potential that they had here on Ascent, especially with these two new players. Now, we're going to be seeing the Square take out Kaba again to have William and Mary on this strong start right now. There's nothing that is being left unsaid here.
Guacamole picking up logs that they cleared earlier with nano swarms and just trying to hold on tight, but they move right into the crosshair of those players. CT gotta keep an eye on those lines of sight. You need to know where you're vulnerable and you need to know where you're safe. Wichita State, they're coming in for the retake, and it is a much more likely round than we would have initially thought, but Little Banana Duck has everything under wraps. We're safe already. William and Mary made it to the finish line.
Con, where can I buy little banana duck plushies? Because now I need one.
Yeah, I need a Little Banana Duck merchandise. I need some t-shirts, maybe some stickers to put on my PC. I've been thinking about getting one of those newfangled water bottles. What are they called? The thermo flasks, and
Is it
get some little.
is it a duck that's made out of bananas? Or is it a banana that's shaped like a duck?
I thought you were about to say banana made out of duck, and that would have been a horrific scene, Artie.
A lot of feathers where there was once peel, but you know, little banana duck is already all the way up in little hell here, taking out Pizza Source. Peeking out that corner, has time to reload before Teason drops down. Truman, though, gonna be able to pick up a double with the Sheriff, and this is an exciting round after the pistols right now. Wichita, they don't want to go down without a fight, but you know, it's Lil Banana Duck versus the world at this point in time. And even though, you know, they've got the spike down already, Kaba will be able to jump through and use just a classic to try and make their way through. But Lil Banana Duck hasn't peaked yet. That's why they're still alive. Hazmat gonna be able to take out Kaba with a shorty. Lil Banana Duck using the Spectre to take out Truman. It's all in the timing, and William and Mary now brings us 10-4.
And now it's Wichita State who are stuck on 4 rounds, right? It seems like like an Uno reverse that William Mary has drawn, but not into the direction of their previous enemies, but just to Wichita State, who are unfortunately now standing in front of them in their way as William and Mary strive for victory and try to get a better score. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, round robin,
Right
you
there.
need to have as many match wins and then past that round wins as possible to really earn your spot into the playoff
Blinded.
bracket. Now, here's Thiessen trying to get some early information with Flash, and I believe they do. So that enables them to just sit on by generator, call for an early rotate, and you see 2 players from mid and B already go to reinforce the space. The issue is if mid isn't held, that means an easy rotation for the attackers, and you see Square going to secure that space, that territory, just in case something goes awry.
So William and Mary has sent out their Empress Reina over in mid. Unfortunately, that Empress mode will burn before they are able to find any kills. But that does still strike fear into the hearts of Wichita, but not into
Reina
Source, who
killed.
just holds that angle and then clicks that
Concealment.
left mouse
Obscuring
button.
vision.
Now, Wichita State did end up moving a few members away from A site. That is going to allow William and Mary a little bit of a way in here. Teason caught out in the middle between everybody here as Hazmat and Guacamole do start cleaning up shop here. And it's Lil Banana Duck in hell right now. Kaba able to find one, but doesn't even understand that Lil Banana Duck has already sprinted up to their front door in their house. There is banana peel everywhere. There's duck feathers, eggs, everything.
So here's what I got right now is I think we're falling into a collegiate classic trap. Truman is really pulling their weight on the end of Wichita State with 17 kills, 13 deaths, but it's not a matter of just who has how many kills. It really is the rotations are too quick. William and Mary are more than capable of handling space being reinforced, and I think it's a matter of Wichita being too reserved on both sides of the map. They have double initiator utility, meaning that they should be aggressing one place and leaving another for retake, and they're not utilizing that utility. Stacking up Killjoy with the second initiator means that you're going to have too much information, and that's going to tell William and Mary exactly what they need to do. It's basically hemorrhaging their own positioning.
But wait, Lil Banana Duck is the first to fall here, and that is what Wichita State needed to start this round off. Just before William and Mary can get to this match point, Wichita wants to stall them. This is almost their last stand. right? As soon as it gets into that match point, then you start to get worried, and then your playstyle changes. You've still got that 1 round buffer. Wichita State taking out Little Banana Duck. This gives them a chance as Thiessen and Jeem pick up a couple more kills each. It is now just going to be a 5v2 here. William and Mary might not have an easy way in. Hazmat going to be facing a little bit of challenge right now. As both members of William and Mary get flashed on Catwalk, this could be it. Hazmat takes out Jeem. Thiessen is going to be able to pick up this 3K and finish off the fight. It's now 11-5. Wichita State, they're on an upswing. For the first time in this half, we could be seeing the momentum shift away from the little banana duck that could.
Turret out.
Getting a good idea of the ultimate economy. Thiessen is one off of the Seekers. That could enable Wichita State to get some mid-round info, and then if it spirals on top of or is comboed with the Killjoy lockdown, it should be a free retake, but I'm not sure if they want to expend it here where William and Mary are already on a broke buy. Yes, absolutely, you should use everything possible to win a round, but when the buy round is coming next, you definitely want to save, and when your backs are against the wall, you want to stay in charge of your own resources, but it doesn't seem like they're going to need to worry at all. Two of William and Mary's players have already dropped.
I am just so shocked to see William and Mary having shown us the light here so far in Wichita. They want to stand their ground. They want to show us what they're worth, and they're not going to go down without a fight here. William and Mary bringing now down with just 2 members away from the table. Little Banana Duck is still alive here. Didn't get first fragged. It's pretty good, but unfortunately this reveal is going to slow things down a bit as Wichita just bakes themselves into the site for a pretty good defense right now. Like, they don't have to be aggressive. They know that. They know that being aggressive and kind of being a little bit overzealous because of their win earlier in the day, it kind of gave them away. And now that they know that, now they understand who they're up against with this William and Mary squad, they are trying to change it up. But is it too late? Little Banana Duck has the potential to 1v5 right now. Little Banana Duck will unfortunately find themselves between a rock and a hard place, only able to pick up one here. Thiessen, again, a 3K to finish off the round. It's 11-6. Wichita is on the up and up. William and Mary, they've got a lot of rounds to get it right. Looks like they've got a full buy going into this one here. So if they bring us into match point, that should get us onto a decent scoreline, but even if they do that, Wichita will still be able to buy.
I feel like right now it's a struggle for William and Mary to push on through a main because of how much Killjoy utility is stacked there. And we see them here going for the death ball strategy again, just 5 stacking. But I think it comes down to a matter of, well, hey, you got a Sova on your roster. All he needs to do is drop a shock, maybe a second one in case he misses the first, and it's pretty much going to secure that entry space into sight for you. Because the only reason Killjoy's utility is so threatening is the Astra Stars on top of it. Nano Swarm plus a Gravity Well is going to be nothing less than lethal. Here we
Seeing
see
all 10 coming here for this A-site push. This is probably the most exciting and action-packed round that we are going to be seeing here today in this beautiful time of collegiate Valorant. As the spike gets planted, Pizza Source could be planting out this lockdown. Truman going to take out 2 here, and Wichita is stronger than ever as Thiessen takes out 2 of their own. A 3K again from Thiessen. Wichita is finally awake. Lots and lots of utility and ultimate were required to get here, but a flawless round by Wichita this late in the game. Now I'm starting to worry for William and Mary.
Wichita's definitely adapting. I think William and Mary heavily overestimated the effectiveness of their own lockdown alongside the Cosmic Divide. The Cosmic Divide actually worked against them because they cut off their only path towards Pizzasaurus's lockdown, who they used it as a counter, and it worked beautifully. And as soon as Guacamole has their second lockdown now, if they even get the chance to build up to it, a Hunter's Fury on the side of Wichita will take it out just as easily. And speaking of being taken out, Square has been put into the ground, but Truman is getting a little bit too big for the britches. They dash away, forced to use that utility, and they're still going to go into a double swing.
Yeah, unfortunately, that spike getting picked up was not what Wichita wanted to see. They almost had that entire round unlocked, but luckily for William and Mary, they're able to walk away with the spike. Now, Thiessen takes out Hazmat. That is Thiessen's mid right there, as Thiessen just locks everything down. 4K for the sky. That is insane. And I am loving what I'm seeing from Thiessen here. This is crazy. We've got Lil Banana Duck dropping a 30 bomb. We've got Truman and Thiessen both on 23 and 22. What is happening today in collegiate Valorant, Ashcon?
Yeah, I don't know if his G Fuel kicked in. He took some gamer subs. He's got a Red Bull sponsorship. Maybe he's drinking some Monster Energy. I have no idea what is flowing through Thiessen's veins, but I want it because he is absolutely cracked, especially in these past few rounds, just waking up and really given us a glimpse into his morning warm-up routine. And that initial flash.
Only hitting onto square. Lil Banana Duck is a little bit too tall and does not care about that. We see Pizzasaurus here holding out no utility in hand. They'll be trying to use any little bit of Nano Swarm here. It will work out. Pizzasaurus does take out Banana Duck. Jeem getting the frag on the Guacamole, and this is just going to leave out a single Hazmat here. Picks up 2, bringing us all the way down to a 1v1. It was a 1v3. Now it's even. Hazmat with the spike as well, but Kaba could find the information they need with the Owl Drone. They do. Gonna try to find out where this next kill is gonna come from here. The plant is going to be faked. Now it is stuck. Now it is faked. Hazmat peeking out, finding where Kaba is. Hazmat, unfortunately, not going to be able to pick up the 3. That was so close to being a match point for William and Mary, but Wichita are clawing back.
It's that split-second decision, right, for Kaba to jump down and then for Hazmat to commit to that spray at just a little bit too early because that gun kicks upwards and Kaba is falling down. And so you can't really control the spray no matter what you try to do. And Kaba to have the patience to fire only once they land. That bullet goes straight to the head. And a great way. I love how you describe it. Wichita clawing back. They're 11-9. It's putting a lot of pressure on William and Mary to perform. And I think that's creating like this mental spiral for them. Banana Duck hears the sound of a high pen gun through B main. Doesn't want to perish to it. The rest of the teammates are already falling. Although he's able to trade one back, the damage has been done. And already it's Thiessen again.
It's Thiessen again, taking out Lil Banana Duck here, getting the double on the Fung, and we know Thiessen, he goes for those 3Ks. We're going to be seeing Thiessen rushing through. Kaba and Jeem will aggress first, and Jeem through the wall takes out Square. It's 11-10. Just a little bit ago, we thought William and Mary were just about to bring us onto that match point, but like I said, Wichita does not want it to get to match point. They don't want the possibility of overtime. They want that 1 round buffer, and they use that to their advantage. Look at that, 6 rounds in a row for Wichita, but that is still nothing on the 10 rounds in a row we got from William and Mary. So Wichita, they got to do it 1 more time to tie us up, 2 more times to get us to match point, and 3 more times for the win.
Speaking of 3 ultimates that they got, and Truman is going to just wield one of them right into the back of enemy lines. Good for 2, and Thiessen is going to top it off for a 3rd. William and Mary once again, just at the start of the round, lost with no help from even their own teammates.
The Thiessen is just so strong. I am loving to see Thiessen here aggressing. It's not the Pizzasaurus versus the Lil Banana Duck. It's Thiessen versus the Lil Banana Duck.
Hazmat here. They're trying to build up ultimates alongside their Killjoy, realizing the lockdown is going to be necessary in the rounds upcoming, but maybe not committing it here. They've given up their presence by grabbing that orb. It's more than obvious that they're here in A main, and they're just sitting patiently. Now, Wichita State, very patient on their side as well. You'd expect them to kind of take more forward control of mid to kind of ensure that the remaining members, Guacamole and Hazmat, are trapped out in A main, and yet they don't, which is perfectly fine. I mean, as long as both sites are
30
secure,
seconds left.
the time running down is in their favor. Now we see them approaching the angles, and this is where the gunfights might break out. Thiessen under hell is going to not even need to peek out. Pizzasaurus kills Hazmat just with the click of a single button. The Nano Swarms get one, and finally, the round score is evened up, Artie.
It's 11-11, but it is time for William and Mary to make a wish. They got 10 in a row, but can they just get 2 in a row here? Unfortunately, their economy is looking a little bit worse for wear. They've got the choice. They can either get Phantoms and Vandals and light armor, or they can go for that full armor, get some utility, and then go for a weaker weapon. But to be honest, I don't think it'll be necessarily weaker, given the fact that they can pull off anything here with the 4 ultimates in their pocket. Wichita State, they've got 3 ults of their own, but William and Mary, they're going to be sending it towards A site right now.
They're gonna back. They're taking their time. I think they were waiting. I think they've been a little bit. How do you say Pavlov into understanding that there's a threat out in A main and Hazmat. That psychological trick is going to be leveraged against them as Thiessen peeks out and then backs away. And that's another early pick against William and Mary, who just can't seem to find the numbers, can't hold on to their agents past the 1 minute mark.
Square going for Empress mode. This is when Wichita gets a little bit worried. Square is in a very good aggressive position right now. Not even going to worry about this owl drone dart here. Just trying to make sure that they can find themselves in a decent spot for this next aggression. Just getting revealed. Everyone knows where you're at this point in the game. Kava getting ready to just send out more utility. The alarm bot also still revealing exactly where Square is. Square still able to get the kill. Refreshes the Empress mode here. Now it's a 4v4. Square hears the sound cue from Thiessen Seekers here, and as Jeem takes out a little banana duck, it gets the double onto Fung, and Thiessen and Pizza Source just finish it out. That is what William and Mary did not want to happen. Wichita brings us to match point, even though William and Mary brought us to 11 so many rounds ago.
Yeah, Wichita State University giving William and Mary a taste of their own medicine. If you remember when the sides were swapped, Wichita State found themselves in a similar scenario where they got trapped up by the market side. And I think they're more than happy to show that foil, that parallelism in their own favor this time around. William and Mary have to claw at this round, throw everything they've got at it. 120%. 8 straight rounds. If they're going to break it, it has to be now. Otherwise, Wichita is going to take it home, and it just looks like it's in their favor no matter what. The operator buy coming out all of a sudden, and no matter what, it seems that William and Mary just cannot survive what seems to be this consistent onslaught by Wichita. And they go for the rotate. But even though Wichita has consistently felt themselves in an advantage, they don't allow the discipline to fade. Look at how they've anchored onto both sites, and Truman is the only one to rotate to find his second pick, Artie.
The first person to follow William and Mary here in this most important match point was Little Banana Duck, the most important player for William and Mary. And I think that just kind of signed their fates right now. Wichita State, they've got 2-man advantage going into this here. 45 seconds on the clock. And William and Mary, they've still got to get spiked down. Now, we're going to be watching as everyone just waits around for the next move to be made. But, with no entries left, both of William and Mary's duelists have been taken out. They're going to have to rely on that Killjoy lockdown. That lockdown isn't even going to be aggressed by the attackers. They're not waiting until everyone falls off the site. They're waiting until it just ends, which is going to give Wichita enough room to come back and take the site here. It was kind of a waste of a lockdown here, and as Thiessen and Truman and Kava all pick up 1 kill each, Wichita State, 9 straight rounds up against William and Mary, who took 10 in a row somehow. I'm at a loss for words. Ashcon, I would have preferred Bind to this.
I think, Artie, we got what we assumed. We had the inkling that Wichita State would come out on top, but not in this fashion. I mean, with the showing that William and Mary had in their bind map, it was only 4 rounds for them in their name, and they swap out some players and get their dynamics up a little bit. And we were on the edge of our seats the entire time. I mean, 13-11 has been the longest map we've seen, and I think it's going to be the longest map we're going to see on Ascent, especially. That seems to be more common to have sweeps across the board. with that, we're going to close out on this William and Mary versus Wichita show, and we're going to be back with our next set of players. Stay tuned.